I'm gonna steal it.
What?
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Welcome back. This is the Millennial Classics. We were watching Buri, and we're about to do the Spider-Man movie rankings real quick. We're going to rank all the Spider-Man movies from Sam Raimi's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man all the way to the Miles Morales movies that just came out this year. It's going to be real chill. We're just going to go through, just rank them pretty relaxed here. You know, some of y'all already know what's coming in 10th. Some of y'all know it's going to be gold, but you know, we had to do this. This is probably the millennial classic superhero franchise of our generation. I mean, there's already been 10 in about 23 years, so I mean, these are churning out all the time. There's new Spider-Mans left and right, and I think really the only other franchise that's even come close is Batman. We've had a ton, but see, those started in the 80s, so not really comparable. In terms of millennial classics, this is the number one. So let's hop right into it. Number 10, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. For Jamie Foxx's hair alone, all right? Because they destroyed my guy. I mean, you can tell off the bat because in the remake where he came back, they fixed all his hair. He had a good costume, you know, and he looked good. But God damn, as the first go around as Electro was rough. The whole sad boy energy between him and then they got sad boy Peter Parker with Andrew Garfield. It's just not a good look. Alright? So we're gonna find Amazing Spider-Man 2. Alright, and we are gonna take that right over to 10. Because god damn. Electro's terrible. Oh. By the way, we're gonna have a ton of spoilers in this. If you don't know, you know now. Gwen Stacy does the death bounce in this movie. The movie doesn't look too good. Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn. It's you know what's tough about this movie? What's tough about this entire franchise? The second one, I'll jump ahead because the Amazing Spider-Man is gonna go right there too, right next to it. What's tough about these two is they literally came right after. Not a superb ending to the first trilogy, but I mean, we're really just rehashing all the beats again with some of the same villains too, and that's crazy because just like Batman's, the one thing those two have in common is they have a ton of sick villains that never go on screen, and some of them we don't even see till like Spider-Verse, so they got no excuse. But yeah, rough movie. Cast like seems okay on paper, like a lot of up and coming people in there. I mentioned Dane DeHaan, but like just never panned out. So yeah, rough go, but 9-10. I mean, and Andrew, I feel bad because Andrew Garfield's not bad as Spider-Man, but whew, not a good go. And while we're on 9, the villain in 9, Lizard, bro. That's like I told you, there's a ton of good villains. Lizards just don't look good. Lizards are a rough go to get right. I think you gotta really kill it. The fact that they did the same exact origin story in this one, and then they just, because you can't be that shameless, they had to change up some shit. So they didn't do the with great responsibility line. They did like with the great, you know, they butchered it. I'm not about to butcher that for you guys either, but yeah. So 9-10, amazing franchise. All right, and then the last one, you know where we got to go with this. Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3. I'm waffling here. I'm waffling here because you know what? We're gonna keep it there for now. It might move between 7 and 8, but for now we're gonna keep it right there. Spider-Man 3. All right, a lot going on, but here's the thing: the hype for this movie when it was coming out, insane, like actually insane. I mean, spoiler alert, but Spider-Man 2, which is going to be really high on this list, was so good. And this is when superhero movies were picking up. I mean, we all, like, back up in the 2000s, we had the X-Men's. Like I said, Batman had already breaking the record back in the day, but Spider-Man 2 was blockbuster, mega smash hit. Everyone was hyped for Spider-Man 3. It did them like crazy first weekend numbers, and they did the same kind of thing. You just packed the villains and packed the villains, and we had Sandman, we had Venom, which is now its own franchise, so that just tells you where we were at. What's cool about the Raimi movies is they got like a weird little vibe going on. They're funny, but they got like he does like some jazz moves. He goes into Dark Peter. The other thing with this movie is there's a ton of fight scenes, and they're hype fight scenes too. They do a lot of the falling and fighting while fighting down. And what I like about this movie, and I will give credit to the Amazing Spider-Man franchises too, is they actually take place in New York. Like they use a lot of New York shit, and every single Spider-Man franchise movie has a bridge scene where someone's hanging off when he's got a web sling. I gotta just say, we gotta be done with that. We gotta throw that out, because watching all these movies in a row, you're literally like waiting for the car off the bridge with the ultimatum with the villain and the saving of him. I mean, it happens every franchise. I get it, it's a Spider-Man move, but come on. Coming up in 7th, this might change. I said this might change, but coming up in 7th, Far From Home. That's this right here. Far From Home, coming up in 7th. This movie, solid. Alright, so like 9 and 10, you just shouldn't watch them shits. You just skip that. Go ahead and skip that. If they're on TV, you change your channel. Starting with 8, right, with Spider-Man 3, like, that's a fun watch. You can watch them. And 7's the same way. Fun watch, good cast. I like Jake Gyllenhaal in this. It's not the best Gyllenhaal. And he's not, like, crazy in it, but he's good. The only thing I don't like about this and this goes for the whole franchise, Tony Stark is such a pivotal part of this entire thing. It feels like Spider and Tony and Friends, kind of. And you have to watch, really, this movie specifically, and the next one, you have to watch like 8 movies to get what everything's going on, right? And the blip, and like, you have to do so much homework to really enjoy these movies. I just got to subtract some points from those. Aunt May's, I mean, what can we say about Aunt May? We might have to do a Aunt May ranking after this. If we were doing that, minus points for no head in the swivel. These two Aunt Mays, her and the one Toby's Aunt May, I mean, at least she didn't get kidnapped multiple times, but you're getting hit with the goblin glider. It's just a rough go. Head in the swivel all times. But yeah, this one has Nick Fury, S.H.I.E.L.D. It goes all through Europe, which honestly sounds sick on paper, but this is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, man. Come on. Let's explore a neighborhood. Let's see him in the Bronx. Let's see him in Harlem. You know? A lot of New York that doesn't get seen. So let's do this. The twist in this isn't as good as in some other later movies. Mysterio is a good villain, and this is one of those ones where it's like, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, what are we doing with the Lizard? We got the Goblin again, you know? Let's change it up. There's Spider-Man, honestly, best villains. Close between him and Batman, but we gotta figure this stuff out. The illusion battles are pretty good, and that's what I think edges this up above Spider-Man 3. The only thing I would say is this does have that classic 2010s, 2020s superhero finale where it's just the city is just getting destroyed. Like Avengers, he says, I want an Avengers level threat, and you know what that means. The city's dying. London's getting destroyed left and right. Even when Tony's gone, his sidekick's still around, happy to be in all these movies. So yeah, 7 I think is about right. And we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna move right on, and then put the third movie on the trilogy right next to it, No Way Home. Highest grossing of the movies here, and yeah, what's to say? Again, I, I don't know if I'm being too unfair, but in terms of Spider-Man rankings, I feel like it's a crutch to have literally another person on the poster, right? Is this Spider-Man or what are we doing here, right? So Doctor Strange, I actually like Doctor Strange, and I like the first Doctor Strange movie a lot, but a lot of they did it well because this one's actually has a lot of throwback stuff. The Daredevil, this one also has a lot of homework, but it's cool because it's a lot of Spider-Man homework. You know, you don't have to. Technically, you can watch if you watch all of these Spider-Man movies, you're good except for the Miles Morales ones, and it just does really well. It's just I'm putting it sixth because you have to watch 6 movies, and even they know the Lizard's ass because they put him away and locked him up and just never even mentioned him again. Back to New York, I like that. They got an iconic New York City finale, you know, with the Statue of Liberty type ending. William Dafoe smashes it. So that's one thing that's gonna in the rest of these movies, in the rest of these rankings, the one thing that's gonna put them all together is villains are killing it. We can rank this actual Spider-Man actors, and I think it would pretty much go in this order that we're doing it now. Actually, a lot of people probably wouldn't put Toby first. Fair enough. But the villains are kind of what make each of these movies, and Willem Dafoe kills it. It's nice to see Doc Ock again. Electro got the glow up again. Yeah, it's a fun time. Watching this in theaters was amazing. When the Spider-Man showed up, amazing. And, you know, it does well, and it's sad. Zendaya kills it. Good cast. But, yeah, sixth is probably the highest I can do it. No Way Home. Oh, and then we're going to put Homecoming right there. 5. So, honestly, this one is probably the one people might want to switch around. 5, 6, 7. I think that's the area where people might switch. I think the top 4 are pretty much locked in stone. You know what I just realized? I'm an idiot. Holy shit. I have 2 4s. We're going to roll with it. We are going to roll with this. But I got 2 4s on this. Goddamn ranking chart. Alright. We're going to roll with it. But yeah, just ignore the 2 4s. Maybe I'll jump back and forth. But we're cool. We're cool. So, yeah, I think 5, 6, 7. You can go in any order. Honestly, this would probably be he's probably the number 1 Spider-Man, but his movies I just feel like they're so ingrained in that none of them really stick out that much. I love Homecoming though because one, you know, I was gonna say villain. Michael Keaton is amazing in this movie. This movie has an actually young looking Spider-Man. Like the first time you see him, you're like, that's a kid in high school. Like, and honestly, the reason this movie's above all the other ones, New York movie, small movie. I mean, he's not doing Avengers level threats. That's the whole point of Spider-Man. Like, it's New York. He's got his Sinister Six. He's hanging around. I love that. It's cool when he shows up in other places, but I just don't want to see him, you know, being in Europe for the whole movie, riding buses. I don't like that. You don't like that. Let's great local feel. When he's just like fighting the guys in the ATM that are stealing the ATM machine, just cool shit. That's what we like about Spider-Man. Tony Stark's sidekick, still that whole thing, but it's cool in the first one, and not New York, but I love a good Washington Monument set piece. Great scene. Yeah, and good cast. Good young cast. Zendaya kills it. Ned's great. Flash. Best Flash, I think. They've really updated it from like the real jock, giant diesel bully that shoves people in lockers to like just, you know, a verbal bully that just knows just what to say, you know? Just what to say to just lighten the mood. All right, for the 4s, you know what we're going to do here. We are going to put Spider-Man 1. Let's put that there. let's ignore this whole situation, and we'll just go right to this bronze. But 4, we're gonna put Spider-Man 1. All right, Spider-Man 1, the OG, the one that started it all. I mean, I just mentioned it, but Diesel high schoolers, Diesel high schoolers, but a good cast. Best Uncle Ben. Best Uncle Ben didn't die out. I mean, he still died, but it came a little tough. Good villain, good original villain. Good villain, William Dafoe. The first time. Solid. This movie just has a lot of meme potential. Not meme potential, it just has a lot of memes, period. I'm something of a scientist myself. Wait, no, that might be from the next one. But, this franchise has a lot of meme material. It's the OG one, so him learning the ropes, learning to be Spider-Man, learning all how to climb, how to swing, the web shooters, all good shit. I mean, it's literally the first time you see it. Nowadays, what I like about the Spider-Verse ones is they zip through this shit. Like, boom, 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 boom. Amazing Spider-Man, it drags a bit, but they know, like, once you've seen it once. And Batman knows this too. And we don't need to see the mom dying in the alleyway with the dad and the pearls and the gun and all that shit. With great power. Uncle Ben kills that. The only thing... What do I say? The only thing I'll say is... the Queensboro bridge scene, fire. Like I said, there's a bridge scene in every one of these franchises, but it's a little ultimatum type deal. What's that shit called? The streetcar dilemma type deal, but all good. First time we see it. That's the thing about being the OG. You just get to say we did it first. Most unrealistic part of this movie. He wants to move to New York and work his way through college. Honestly. Come on. But, yeah. Number 4, solid. And now we have it. The top 3. The top 3. And this is probably the toughest. I think you could do any order here, and it wouldn't matter. Well, it wouldn't matter to me. But I think you could do any order here. And you know my feeling on OGs. You know my feeling on being the first and paving the way for the rest. So for that reason, Across the Spideyverse, bronze. Had to do it. Probably, on rewatches, it'll head on up. The thing about this movie is, honestly, this movie is the most beautiful movie out of all of these. It's sick. I mean, the way they start it with the 20 minutes of just Gwen. The way they started with 20 minutes just Gwen. The art and the art direction's beautiful. It's funny. The bad guy spot is just super interesting. A real cool way to... I don't know. I can't remember ever seeing the villain grow with the story and kind of get bigger and bigger as the story goes on and as you're realizing what's going on. Really cool way to do it. Only thing is, how I feel. The first Spider-Verse was such a unique thing. Literally it won the Oscar for Best Animation. And now you kind of see that art style everywhere. It's changed a bit, but Puss in Boots, TMNT, and it's getting more and more popular. And Across the Universe is still a sizable step up above those, but it's not the first. We've said that before. Yeah, there are some scenes in this, like when they go to the Spider-Verse planet and it's just 80, 90 characters on the screen. I don't know. I'm in a movie theater whipping my head back and forth. I don't even know where to look. Like I said, this is definitely a movie where I've seen it twice, and you probably want to own it and just rewatch it to actually get everything. You just feel like these guys put so much work and so much effort into every every shot and every scene that it probably gets more rewarding every time you watch it. But yeah, I think the first time in a movie theater, it's tough to handle. Story's good, twist is really good. You know, you don't see a lot of stuff coming here. The reason it's 3 though, and this is the biggest reason, all right? This is the reason why it's behind the other 2. The ending. The ending, because this shit is so whack. In 2023, here's the thing. I think they say part 1. Do they? I think they do. It's just in the movie theater, you're literally like, what just happened? And ending on cliffhangers is just, it's, when you know you gotta wait 2-3 years, it's rough. It's so rough. And we saw it. I saw it. We're not comparing these 2 movies on quality, because Fast 10 ended on an even worse cliffhanger than this. But it's just, that's not who you want to be compared to. You know, you don't want to be in that same, my bad, Fast X. You don't want to be in the X lane, all right? So that's why it's bronze. Number 2. I've been flip-flopping between these 2. And I don't know what we're going to do. I think what we're going to do, this is the dude, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go here. Into the Spider-Verse. I will shout out to Punk Spider-Man. Killed it. Daniel Kaluuya killed it. Into the Spider-Verse. I think this is like an instant classic. It's almost weird. It didn't get that much pop. It didn't get that much, like, not views, but it didn't get that much attention in the movie theater the first time around. But I think that showed that a lot of people picked it up later, because by the time Across the Spider-Verse was happening, everyone was ready. Animation, I think, is this movie kind of proves that animation, and it's so obvious when you think about going from comic books right into animation, kind of makes a lot of sense. But this movie just like nails that, and you feel like, how many great animation experiences are we missing because it, you know, that maybe there's more money to be made making a live action. But something like X-Men, where there's 30 million characters and people have weird powers, I feel like that'd be sick to do in this style. I love this. We talked about villains a lot, and Spot was cool, but this movie has the classic Spider-Man villains. Kingpin. Everyone loves Kingpin. You almost wonder why. I mean, he's a daredevil too, but I just love Kingpin as a bad guy. I mean, he's relatable. Yeah, I mean, he's relatable. The multiverse story arc, it was fresh here. You know, now it's like the whole stage 5 of the MCU. We're doing multiverses and kings, and DC's got their thing, and everyone's doing multiverses, and Across the Multiverse kind of stuck with it. But the first time it really felt fresh. The Olivia Octavius twist was pretty fun. All the different Spider-Mans, the first time you see him, are pretty cool. And yeah, it's just, this movie was a vibe. That's all I can say. Both of these movies are near perfect. The only reason I'm going to put this other movie, you know what it is, Spider-Man 2 first, is just, this was the movie, you know? Up until The Dark Knight, this was the movie. This movie was so sick. I mean, I've actually, it's so sick, I thought some of the memes were from the first one, but a ton of memes. Doc Ock is the GOAT villain. Brilliant, but lazy. I mean, we got so many quotables from this shit. This movie is so good. So good. It's so New York. There's a scene in here where Spider-Man stops a train. See, that's the type of shit that we gotta, like, Spider-Man don't gotta be saving Chitauri from the sky, and doesn't have to be in Europe fighting elementals, right? All he had to do was stop a train. Seems simple enough, but it's cool watching him stop a subway train. And he's stopping him with his webs, and he gets his ass kicked, and Tobey Maguire kills in this. and the city of New York steps up, protects him. Joey Diaz himself. I mean, this movie really makes you feel like he's actually a local New York hero, and it's something that gets detached from the Tom Holland ones. And just honestly, it's probably because of the whole MCU-ness of it, but this movie's great. The side plots are cool too. The story is good. The movie's just really well written. I mean, Precious Tritium. I mean, we got so many. The him doing the whole sun fusion thing, and then bringing it back at the end, and saving MJ, and MJ finding out. It's just good. It's good shit. The whole way through, the Harry Osborn storyline just works. So, just to recap, this is what we came up with. All right. So, coming in first with the gold medal, Spider-Man 2. Then we got Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. You could switch. I think if we're gonna do tiers, these would all be one tier, right? This is a top shelf. This is the clear the night, right? Get the popcorn, sit down. You know, you got no one's got Blu-rays anymore, but you got, you know, you got it on Apple TV, got it on Amazon Prime. We're gonna watch this, right? In fourth, we got the OG Spider-Man. Then we got Homecoming, No Way Home, and Far From Home. As far as these, I think honestly, if Tom Holland's your guy, I think you can bump some of these up. And if Tom Holland, if you're like me, I really like Tom Holland actually, and I'm gonna track back. It'd probably go Tom Holland, Toby, for me, then Miles, all the other Spider-Mans. That I'm not gonna shit on Andrew Garfield anymore. He did good. He did good with what he had. I'll say that. But yeah, I think that works. Spider-Man 3 in 8th, The Amazing Spider-Man in 9th, and then The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 10th. And that's all. Let me know what you guys want for the next couple. I think maybe doing X-Men. Maybe doing X-Men, or maybe doing something like the best Christopher Nolan movies, I was thinking. So between those two, let me know what you guys think. Deuces.